Hi, this is S.G. Brownlow, and I'd like to welcome you to my three-part series on how to screw up your emotional life. And this is the first video, and this is going to be about what I call avoiding. Although if you really think about emotions, there isn't a time that we don't have some emotion going on. And so when you avoid, you are actually replacing one emotion with another. And so I want to give you a really extreme example of this. And this is somebody that I actually knew when I was an undergraduate. At the time, I was working part-time in a warehouse while I was going to school. And, it's good work. Got me out of the house, gave me a little extra spending money, and got a lot of exercise in the warehouse. And Anna was the big boss's secretary. And she was somebody, everybody liked her. She was very attractive physically. She always wore really nice clothes. She had a really nice smile. She was always very friendly and nice to everybody, from the highest to the lowest in this environment. Everybody liked Anna. Well, one day I was near her somehow. She was in the warehouse doing something, and she reached over to pick up something, I think, and didn't realize I was nearby. And I saw her wince. And so I started talking to her about it and asked her, it's like, oh, that looked like it hurt. And at this point, she told me that she had some kind of degenerative back problems. I think she may have had arthritis in her back and a few other things, and she was in pain a significant portion of the time. Well, I had never really realized that, and I wondered about that and wondered who all knew about that, and didn't think anybody really knew about that. And so as I started talking to her about this pain and so forth, and Anna was not old. She was probably mid-20s, so she was really old to be having back problems, and especially arthritis in her back. She said, well, as the doctors had said, the stress was making it worse. And it's like, well, what was so stressful in her life? It seemed like everybody really liked her, and it turned out that there had been a lot of significant trauma in her childhood, and probably some significant loss in addition. And so there were a lot of real painful emotional things going on, where she would go home, and to listen to her, she was so depressed that she would just get into bed sometimes and just collapse, not eat, not want to get up, not want to do anything. And then in the morning, it just took all the energy she could get and all the willpower to get up and get out of bed and shower and get ready to go to work. And then she would get into work and she would hit the floor, and it would be showtime. Just all the big smiles and friendly attitude and all of that kind of stuff. And I asked her, why didn't she let anybody know that all this was going on? This had to be terrible. And her response was that, to her mind, nobody cared. Nobody wanted to know about any of that stuff. But to her, if she could make other people feel better about their lives, then that made her feel better. And so she replaced all this pain and hurt and depression with smiles and happiness, and pretending that she was feeling in a way that she didn't. And at the same time, because she wasn't dealing with all the hurt, it was causing a lot of stress that was really messing with her health and making her health condition much worse. Now, for a long time, I thought that all defensive emotional stuff really was maybe not as extreme as what Anna did, but the same kind of stuff. You know, we feel sad and we act angry, or we feel ashamed and we convince ourselves we're proud, or we do something in some way like that. We substitute one emotion for another. I've since come to realize that that's not exactly what's going on, that there are a couple of other processes that are going on, which is why there are 2 more videos in this series. But I think it's not unfair to say that there's an awful lot of pretense going on with some people who pretend that they're feeling in ways that they aren't, with the hope that if they act happy, if they think they're happy, then they can convince themselves that they are happy. And unfortunately, a lot of people call that emotional intelligence, which I don't think it is at all.